Okay, so here's a really fun one. A school board member compared the pride flag to the swastika. She was relieved of her duties. And I shouldn't have to explain how the two are different. But the subheading. Her colleagues concluded that the pride flag is about inclusion, while the Nazi symbols are about extermination. And I can only hope that it didn't take them that long to come to that conclusion, because that should be obvious. Ooh, I didn't realize this. A Catholic school board trustee tried to ban the pride flag after comparing it to the Nazi swastika a second time and got kicked off the board in the process. Way to go, Catholics! Nice to see a good story that involves the Catholic Church. Very good. The Niagara Catholic District School Board in Ontario censored Natalia Benoit in January. Or it could be Benoit, I'm not sure. After an independent investigator agreed she breached the board's code of conduct by making the hateful comparison. She was relieved of her duties and barred from attending board meetings for 6 months. Catholic schools in Ontario get public funds. So that explains that. It's not so much, well, first off, it's Canada, so they aren't as hateful. Even though we are importing the hate to Canada, they're not generally as hateful as us. But also just the fact that, they actually give a shit. Okay, we're getting public funds, so we have to follow certain laws, as opposed to this idea that religion is sacrosanct and so whatever we say goes. Because at least from what I know in Canada, they do not have separation of church and state. So, yeah. Yeah, good to hear, good to hear. Just weeks after returning, Benoit, I'm going to keep saying Benoit because, it's Ontario, but it's possible she's a French Canadian. Like I said, it could be Benoit too. Again introduced a proposal to amend the flag flying protocol to exclude the pride flag, which would bar schools and offices from displaying the inclusive standard. In an explanation caught on tape last year, Benoit claimed she didn't support flying any flag at all. Like the Nazi flag, we don't want that up either, right? So you wouldn't want to fly the maple leaf? Canada's flag. I don't know if Ontario has its own flag as well, because here in the United States, states have their own flags. It's not just, the country that has a flag. So you're against flying that flag too? What the heck? The Nazis killed 6 million Jews during World War II and started their reign of terror by singling out transgender people in a campaign of violence and book burning. More than 15,000 LGBTQ+ individuals were interred in concentration camps, according to the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust. The report investigating Benoit's actions described the Nazi flag as a distinctly recognizable symbol of Nazi propaganda, and the Nazi regime was characterized by its pursuit of racial purity, pursued through policies designed to exterminate Jews and other minorities, including homosexuals, by mass murder, among other means. The pride flag, by contrast, is one which always reflects in essence a rainbow, and is born out of an intention to include persons historically marginalized in society. Benoit was unrepentant after the report was issued. There is no comparison of flags, she wrote. It is a statement that no flag should be flown which would cause conflict or controversy in our schools. The only person causing conflict or controversy is you. Alleging the comparison was only spreading lies, provoking a hostile environment. What lies? What lies is it spreading? What hostile environment? The only people who are making it hostile are bigots like you. Nobody else is making the environment hostile. And what lies are you talking about? The board began flying the pride flag at its high schools in 2021 and at elementary schools in 2022. Board Chair Danny DiLorenzo said that despite Benoit's provocation, he hadn't received many complaints about flying the flag. I got some negative, some positive comments, he explained, adding it's generally accepted within Ontario's Catholic schools. The New Testament has many stories of Christ himself reaching out to those who are marginalized. Director of Education Camilo Cipriano told CBC last week. After discussions with several priests and the local diocese, he said, I will continue to fly it as long as it remains my decision. I think that it's a sign of inclusion, a sign of acceptance, not a sign of promotion, Board Chair DiLorenzo said. The Bible also says acceptance of others and that Jesus accepts everyone. I think that's where we have to stop and reflect on the Bible. We do have a loving God, and we do have an accepting God. Benoit's resurrected proposal goes to a vote before the board on Tuesday. So, yeah, it's great to see someone who is obviously deeply religious, because this is a Catholic school, who actually reads the good side of the Bible as opposed to only mentioning the bad parts. Like I just posted on Facebook not that long ago a passage from Leviticus, which is generally used to promote their hateful beliefs, but in this case reminds people that the Bible says to love aliens coming to your country like you would any other neighbor. So even Leviticus isn't completely hateful. But for some reason, bigots want to just focus on the bad parts of the Bible instead of looking at the good parts. Now, granted, that's why I think religion in general, things like the Bible, the Quran, I don't take very seriously because of all the contradictions. But that's just me. But it's very rare that you hear of people cherry picking the good parts. So it's great when you hear people cherry picking the good parts of the Bible and ignoring the hateful parts. Because if you're going to cherry pick the good parts. Why do you insist on cherry picking the bad parts and insisting that it validates you just are looking for reasons to validate your hate? Because why are you just looking for the hateful parts? And actually a lot of those hateful parts are mistranslations, like the Sodom and Gomorrah, which is usually used as an example of the Bible hating on homosexuals. It's actually talking about pedophilia, not homosexuality. So even that is wrong. And actually, since I've read that story many times, and my take wasn't even the pedophilia thing. It was don't be a dick to strangers, because it was in order to protect their daughters, the innkeeper sent out strangers to be raped. So it's not even against homosexuality. It's against rape, and it's against throwing out strangers and treating them like crap and letting them get raped in order to protect your daughters. I mean, yeah, you protected them, but at what cost? So I just don't see where this is against homosexuality. But anyway, like I said, it's good to see a religious school not being dicks. That's always a good thing, especially when it's the Catholic Church. Because generally when you hear about the Catholic Church, it's not good. So it's nice to hear that there's a Catholic school out there who actually practices what Jesus generally promoted, which is love, acceptance, helping the poor, the downtrodden, helping immigrants. You know, basically everything that the modern evangelical seems to hate. But anyway, that is all I have for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.